Brandi?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Awesome. Appreciate you for taking the time out for this. We've been interviewing
Of
you for
course.
many, many years now, so it's
I
always good to
know. It's good to
catch
put
up
a
and find
face with a name.
exactly. But you guys have so much history as Blaque. I want to also get into some of that solo music that you put out for that period in your career. I want to get into all of that. So, let's just start out first with that Torch album that you guys put out last year. A lot of people were so happy that Blaque finally put it out after many, many years. I think we have been waiting since 2003. Just talk about putting that album out and what the response was like.
Torch. We were so happy to be able to give our fans what they've been asking for so many years. Torch was like, that's all they wanted to hear from Blaque for a while was like, Torch, Torch, Torch. So 20 years last year, Blaque made 20 years. It was our anniversary, and Shamari and I wanted to do something special
Yeah.
for our fans, and we were like, what can we do? And we thought like, wow, it would be great to just put Torch out for our 20-year anniversary, and our fans were so happy, and so were we.
Yeah.
It was just amazing. Like number three, it went number three on the charts the first day on iTunes, so it was awesome.
Yeah, that was amazing. And it was just crazy because like I would see the response that that album would get, and even before the album even came out, people would hit us up and they're like, "Can you ask Brandy about Torch? Can you ask Shamari about Torch?" And like even when you guys were putting out records, like Summertime Riding was one that you put out, everyone just kept asking about Torch. Like, what do you
Yeah.
think made people so excited about that album at that time? Like, was it just the fact that it didn't come out, or do you think there was something to that album?
I think that our fans knew that this was pretty much the last label album we did with Natina.
Yeah.
So that made it special, and I guess they just love the songs. Like I don't know, and it's dedicated to Lisa, to Left Eye. So it's just a special project. Period. So I think they felt that, and they wanted it, and they should have it, and they can get it now. So it's great.
Yeah, a lot of fans are happy about that. But let's take it back, Brandy. You mentioned TLC. A lot of people, of course, know you guys were discovered by Left Eye, groomed under her. You guys went on the fan mail tour. You guys were part of all of that. So just take me back to that era. Like, was there a moment either on tour or when you guys were with Left Eye where you were like, I got to get to that level? Because Left Eye at that time, she's killing it.
Man, listen, we were able to be on tour, on the fan mail tour with them, and just to see the fans and just to see the show. Like they gave such a great show, and the music, they took us back from, the first album to, leading up to fan mail at the time, and it was just the body of work
Yeah.
that they have. The legacy of music is what makes them who they are, and we just always wanted to be able to achieve something like that. So of course it was amazing.
Yeah. And you were so young at the time when the first album came out. And for a lot of people that are listening now who are aspiring artists, they might think that singing is for fun, performing is for fun, but it was an actual career. It was a job. So do you remember those days being in the sessions and having to record multiple takes? You got to do it again. You got to do like take me back to those
Yes.
moments on that first album.
We spent the night in studios. We would fall asleep in studios. We would go in at night and come out the next morning. It'll be daytime. Like literally, we put a lot of hard work into creating our first album. Everything we do, we try to, you know, make it great for our fans, and we want to be proud of what we're putting out to the world. So you don't want to rush that.
Right.
You have to take the time. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
amazing.
So let's talk about that first album. A lot of people still love that album to this day. I felt like that album stood out because there were so many topics that artists at your age, they didn't necessarily talk about. A song like Rainbow Drive, another song like Lenny, those topics, like just talk about where that inspiration came from. Was that, as a collective group, you guys wanted to talk about those things?
Yeah, we were really young, but I think we were
Yeah.
very mature for our age.
Yeah.
And we wanted to talk about real issues. We wanted to talk about unity, because Blaque, it stands for believing in life and achieving a quest for unity and everything. So in our music, like songs like Rainbow Drive, and you know, we just I do like we just wanted to bring people together and show unity and love and for everyone. And so I think that that's what we try to do with our music, and just with what Blaque stood for.
Right. And then you guys came out of the gate with two massive hits, 808, Bring It All to Me. I mean, just take me back to that era as a young singer. You're hearing hits on the radio at that age. Like, just go back to that moment. What was that like?
I remember seeing, first hearing 808 on the radio. I was in my bedroom on the phone like a teenager would be. And I had the radio on, and I'm just in my room like, yeah, girl. And 808 starts playing. And I'm
Mm.
like, like I started screaming. I hung up on whoever I was on the phone with. I ran downstairs. Oh my God, it's on the radio, like crazy. And then I remember knowing that BET was going to debut 808 the video. And so my
Mm.
family was kind of like around the TV waiting on it to come on. And it was just a beautiful moment. It was kind of surreal, like, wow, just beautiful.
That's amazing. And the one thing that I love about Black, and I think you guys need to get more credit for this, the remixes that you did for those records, 808 remix, and then the I Do remix, crazy. Especially the I Do one, the one that Trackmasters did, crazy.
Yeah, thank you. 808 remix was huge for us on the pop side of the world, and we were always trying to be little pop princesses anyway. So that going back to Cali 808 remix was amazing. Trackmasters
Yeah,
did that as well. And so I mean, we were lucky to just have great songs that people
yeah,
loved.
yeah. And then of course the Bring It All to Me remix with JC Chazé and
Oh
Sync.
yeah,
How big was that for
yeah,
you guys at that time? Because NSYNC, I think that was right before they hit their like massive peak, right?
yeah. They were
Yeah,
right on the tip of that like
yeah,
explosion.
yeah,
And we were just so lucky to know them. Like we spent a lot of time before we toured with them. We were in Orlando because we had the same manager at the time. And so we
yeah,
used to hang out with them in Orlando. We got a chance to know them before we got on tour. And then once we started touring, it just became family. And so a fun fact is that Justin was actually supposed to do it, but he
mm,
couldn't. He was filming something. And so we were like, JC, and he was like, yes, absolutely. So because we love the guys. It really didn't matter. Like one of
yeah.
them, we love JC just as much as Justin. So we're just blessed to have him on there.
That's amazing. Now let's get to the second Black album. I hope people have heard it because it was an amazing body of work. I think it's on Spotify now, but Blackout, that album to me, like when I listened to it, the growth that you guys had on that album and some of the production and songwriting on it, like it to this day, it's still a great body of work. Just talk about that album.
That is probably my favorite album. Blackout
Yeah.
was great. We were definitely in a different space. We had come from being these young girls in the bubble wrap and all of
Yeah.
that, and then it was like, okay, second album, we're gonna be sexy, we're gonna be hot.
Yeah.
And the label really gave us a lot of freedom on, the songs and
Yeah.
choosing what we wanted to talk about and what we wanted to say, and so we kind of really took that executive producer role very
Yeah.
seriously, and we created a great project. It was great.
Yeah. I mean, I just saw a comment here. Did you guys actually film a video for Can't Get It Back? Because
Yeah,
that's been, you guys
yeah,
did. What happened with that
yeah.
video?
The video actually, and recently I try to look it up on YouTube or Google it to find it. And
Yeah.
you can find snippets of it, but you cannot find the entire video, which is crazy. So I'm planning to call Sony
Yeah.
Music and have them send me all of my videos because I would love to have them, just to have them in my vault.
Right. No, it would be amazing to see. So for the people that haven't heard Blackout, like, what do you think if they now go back and listen to it? What do you want them to take away from listening to that album?
I would say that just know we were in a space of growth, and we wanted people to know that, this is our second album. We're here to stay now. This is us. We're not the newbies. You guys know us already. Now we're about to get even deeper into who we are as individuals.
Yeah.
who we are as women, because we went from teenagers, now we're growing into young adults at that point. And so I think people would hear that in the music.
So after two albums, no, with Blackout not coming out, how discouraged were you guys at that point? Was that a tough time for you guys?
It was a little discouraging because of the work that was done. Of course, it's
Hmm.
like, we did all that work. Um, but the blessing was that we weren't without a label, or
Hmm.
not making music
Yeah.
for long. We were over at Elektra within like months,
Yeah.
and we were able to start working on Torch,
Right.
and I'm Good came out from that.
Yeah. Just talk about the impact of I'm Good because that was part of the Honey soundtrack, which was a huge movie that year. How do you feel like that song helped your guys' career moving forward?
It was great. I mean, I'm Good. We were able to work with Missy, for the video. Of course, Jessica Alba was in it. It was dope. The song is dope. People love I'm Good. They have I'm Good challenges right now. Like,
Yeah.
dancers are doing the I'm Good challenge, which is amazing. Like, it's crazy. We didn't know that song was going to be, I mean, Rodney Jerkins, first of all. When
Hmm.
you get a
Yeah.
record from Rodney Jerkins, you
Yeah.
know it's gonna be something. And Sean Daniels, God rest his soul,
Hmm.
he produced our vocals on that record, and I mean, you can hear like Shamari and I are singing our butts off.
Yep.
So, and
Yeah.
almost to our own horns. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
Sean is just amazing. Like, he knows how to pull the magic out of you. So it was just a great record, and it lives on till today. So
Absolutely. So back to this Torch album, because I actually, when I listened to it when it came out last year, I really tried to digest it. I tried to put you guys back into 2003 when it came out, because I don't think it would have been fair to judge you guys based on where you guys are at today. But when I
yeah,
look back at that album, it was, I would say it was different from the first two, but at the same time, I think it showed a lot of different sides to you guys. Like when I listened to a song like Fall Through, which you were a big part of, like just talk about the growth of you as an artist at that time.
yeah, I think we wanted people to hear, okay, we are a group,
Yeah,
but Shamari is this,
yeah,
Natina is that, Brandi is this, and this is
yeah,
what makes up Blaque. So I
yeah,
think we wanted people to, know us as individuals, but of course, the foundation is Blaque. So with a song like Fall Through, you got to hear my vocals, you
yeah.
got to hear me expressing, how I was feeling at that moment. So I think it was great. We were
Yeah.
actually grown by that point.
Right.
Tina was a mom.
Hmm. Yeah.
So like we were, definitely grown women, and we wanted our fans that were growing up with us to be with us with our experiences.
Right. Now, take me through this timeline because I know Black went on a hiatus after that, and you were on the Nelly record Grills. You were singing background on that one. Like, just take me through that timeline and how you got on that song.
Yeah, so Nelly and I were friends, and he called me out of the blue one night and it was like, I need you to be on this song. And, we made it happen. Yeah, it
And you're
was
in the
great.
video and everything.
Yep, it was a really great experience. And, I got another hit record out of it. So I'm forever grateful.
That's amazing. So
Love
let's
for
fast forward. Let's fast forward a little bit here. This is around the time that I interviewed you, so this was around 2011, I want to say. You had dropped the record, Love It. It was like a really Janet inspired record. Like, just take me through that point in your career, because you had been in a group for so long. Like, did you see yourself fully as a solo artist at that time?
I think I just was ready to make music,
Yeah,
that I was feeling it. It didn't really matter to me if it was like, oh, this is Brandi's solo moment or
yeah,
a group moment. It was just like, I'm ready to make music that I feel right now and I want to
yeah.
share it. And so that was
Hmm.
kind of it.
Yeah,
And yeah, it was supported. My sisters definitely supported it. Shamari was at my release party
hmm,
for it, her and Ron,
yeah,
and it was definitely welcomed and supported. Like whatever we decide to do, apart from Blaque, we know
Yeah.
that the foundation is always Black. So
Yeah.
we always fully support each other in that. So that's just where I was with that.
Right. Where's the rest of that music? We've only heard of
Ah,
it.
one day, listen, the other night I was going down memory lane listening to some stuff that I recorded a while ago, and I'm like, you
Right.
know what? I'm just gonna start putting this out. The world needs to
Hmm.
hear it. So there is music coming.
Yeah.
Lost Files of Brandi. You will hear them one day. I'm sure you will.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, I want to say probably a week or two before Natina passed away, I had interviewed her, and she was just so amped up and excited about this Black project that you guys were starting to work on. Like, what were those conversations like? You guys were actually ready to put out an album at that time?
Yeah, we were recording. we
Oh
were
wow.
yeah, man, we were in the process of recording not just music but a show and everything. I
Wow.
mean, things were moving in a great direction for us and we were all excited. We had been apart from each other musically, not as family, but
Right.
musically for a minute, and we were ready to get back
Wow.
and do our thing. So yeah, it was an exciting time. It really was.
Yeah, that's amazing. And of course, Natina, I feel like we need to celebrate her a little more just because even when you go back to that first album, like she had some brilliant songwriting on that album, and she was so young at the time. Like, just kind of take me through Natina as a creator. Like, what did you see from your perspective from her?
I would say Natina was Blaque's first writer.
Hmm.
The songs that we sang on our demos to get our deal with Sony Music were songs that Natina wrote. So she was our first writer, and she had always had this vision for Blaque,
Yeah.
musically and fashion. When it came to the bubble wrap on the first album cover, that
Yeah.
was her. So she was definitely a creative. I mean, her mind just, whoo,
Yeah.
it would go and you would be like, okay, this is like, what are you talking about? Like, wait, wait, wait. Like, it was going so fast, she would just be like, okay, well, we got to do this. We got to do that. And she was just brilliant, really. She really
Mm. So, how is your process as a creator? Are you similar to that, or are you a little more planned out? Like, just take me through your process.
I think that I'm definitely a little more planned out than she is.
Yeah.
Like, Tina would be mile a
Right.
minute. But I think with me, I have to kind of process it, think about it, take a minute and say, okay, what makes sense for this? How do I see that? What's the vision for here? And kind of plan it out and, go from there.
Nice. Now, let's talk about Black moving forward. I know you and Shamari, you guys put out Torch. You guys had put out a couple of records a couple of years ago. Like, what's the future for Black? Are you guys working on new music? I know the answer to this. I'm not going to say it, but just talk about what the future holds for Black.
Yes. So since you guys have Torch, which is amazing, now we can put new music out. So yes, that is the plan. Actually, before the pandemic, we were in the process of that. So,
Hmm.
but slow motion right now, but we will get back to it, and that is the plan. Hmm.
Right. What kind of direction do you see Black going in 2020? You guys started out so young, developed a fan base for many, many years now. Like, where do you see Black going from here in terms of the sound?
I just feel like we're gonna stay true to who we are.
Hmm.
I know that that's very important to Shamari and I.
Yeah.
When we were talking about what is Black now, we want to stay true to who we are and who we introduced you guys to. But we're also 20 years later. We're grown up.
Right.
We have a lot of life experience to talk about. We had a lot of heartbreaks throughout these 20 years,
Right.
but a lot of things to celebrate and a lot of things to be happy about as well. So you're going to hear the story of Black at this point. Now it's time
Right.
to tell the story. Now it's time to tell you, who we are, how we got here, the growth, where we are today. And I think that's what we want to say and what we want the world to hear now.
Wow. That's powerful. And just looking back at Black from the beginning till now, you're still pushing Black, and I love that because there's a lot of artists that don't necessarily promote their music or stuff like that, but you're still here, you're still grinding. Like, take me through the grind as a veteran in this game, but you're celebrated, but just take me through your mentality in 2020 and pushing the group forward so that you're able to put out new music. Like, is that a challenge for you right now?
Actually, well, it's really not challenging because the beauty is now you can just put music out. You can just do it. You don't need a label.
Yeah.
You don't need anything. You can make it and put it out. So it's really not challenging. I think that with us, we always want it to be a moment. We want it to make sense. We want the world to pay attention. So we're not just trying to do anything with haste. We want it to always make sense. So I think with us putting out, celebrating our 20 years, putting out Torch, making that a moment, letting that breathe, and now it's like, okay, now it's time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then lastly, a lot of people might not know your sister is in the industry as well, Cody Shane, and she's been killing it. When you look at how these younger artists like Cody maneuver through the industry with the usage of social media, and then you compare it to how it was back in the day, like, can you even compare the two, or is it just like two different things?
It's two different worlds. Like, oh my
Yeah.
God. Can you imagine if we had what they have back
Right.
then?
Yeah.
We sold 4 million. We probably would have went diamond
Right.
back then if we had the network. First of all, just think about if Natina had the social media that
Mm-hmm.
we have right now. What if Left Eye had the social media we have right now?
Right.
It would have.
That's amazing. What kind of advice do you give Cody, being that it's two different worlds and the industry being so different? Like, what kind of advice would you give her?
Every time I see Cody, the only thing I leave her with when it comes to this industry, which are the things my dad said to me: stay humble, stay sweet.
Yeah.
And also, what I learned is to enjoy the moment. Be in the moment, because you really, when she's 21 now, when you're in it, you think this is gonna be my life forever.
Right.
You don't realize how things are going to change. One day things are going to change, and that doesn't mean that they're going to be bad. They're just going to change.
Yeah.
And so when you're having all of these amazing experiences, you want to savor the moment and be in the moment. And it's so hard to do that because you're moving around, you're working, you're pulled here and there, and it's hard to be like, yo, like, look at where I am, look at what I'm doing right now. So I wish that I would have done that more.
Yeah. I mean, you guys got to celebrate Torch. That's a big accomplishment. And you guys need to go check out that album if you haven't already. But Brandi, we're almost out of time here, but is there anything that you'd like to add?
I just want to thank you for always supporting Blaque. Like, it's been years, and you have always been behind us. I really appreciate it. Stay tuned on all of our social media for any updates when it comes to Blaque and, what Shamari and I are doing separately. And just stay safe out there, guys.
Absolutely. Brandi, I appreciate you for taking the time out for this. Thank you for your contributions to R&B, and just keep it going. We're going to be supporting you no matter what, so just keep it going.
Thank you.
All right, you take care.
Have a great one. Bye.
You too.